Well, hello, and welcome back to another How May I Serve You Today? Ask Me Anything live session. For those of you watching the replay, I want to let you know what you're about ready to see is a live stream that I did on Monday, August 18th, 2025. I believe this might be my 24th of these in a row, and I plan to continue to do these on a daily basis for 90 minutes, Monday through Friday, for as long as I'm in town or not hosting a workshop like next Friday that's coming up. But yeah, this is something that I do in this season of life. It is resonating at a deep level with how I want to show up in the world. And so I just show up here currently with no understanding of whether or not a single person is actually even going to join me at all during the 90 minutes. And of course, if somebody joins me, I don't know currently who any of those people will be. And I have no clue what topics will be discussed, but I'm here to be of any support and or encouragement to anyone who crosses my path. I've been doing the best that I know how to communicate consistently with my email list and a few people through social media that I am here making this available, recognizing that there's probably ways that I could do this differently, more efficiently, and all this other stuff, but kind of just taking it by inspiration only. And so far, it's worked out well. I have had some incredible conversations that have turned into episodes of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show. Still have 18 more of those to process here from prior live streams. But yeah, it one of the things that I've thought about is maybe even scheduling some folks who are scheduled to come in and have conversations rather than having me sit here re-explaining everything and then just sitting for bits and periods of time. However, I like the idea of the fact that it's not scheduled, that anybody can just pop in as they see the live stream. So I don't know. We'll see as time goes on. But what I am going to tell you is that I'm not going to be here to perform for anyone. I'm not here to do any kind of like marketing for anything. This isn't a sales pitch. There's no slides, there's no ulterior motive other than I just want to show up and be of service today. And so if you happen to be watching the replay, by all means, go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, and you will see a section on that page that has the future dates and times of when you can join these sessions. And who knows, I may choose to start inviting people into a full-blown coaching experience like I've done previously, but we'll play it by ear. Anyway, if you happen to be watching live right now, this is your invitation. Right? What did it say? This is right here. If you're feeling stuck in a goal that maybe you were once excited about, maybe you're wrestling with some uncertainty around a major decision, you might be navigating some sort of anxiety or self-doubt about what's next for you. Are you craving a sense of direction, some sort of clarity that's needed, or maybe you just want a little bit more peace about where you are in your journey right now through life and or business or any other area? Feel free to join me. Again, it's cliffravenscraft.com/join. It's also right there, by the way, cliffravenscraft.com/join. You can join me. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and wait for the first person to join. And by the way, there's no promise that anybody will join me during the session. So we could be sitting here for the next, I didn't set my timer. So let me just do at 2:30 p.m. We could be sitting here for the next 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 9 seconds all by myself. But you're free to close the live stream anytime you want. All right, with that being said, I am going to now mute myself and wait for the first person to join. Hey, Mark, I see that you've popped into Zoom. Are you going to join me today, or are you just tuning in just to listen in?
To listen.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for letting me know.
Yep. All right.
Looks like Matt is getting logged in here. Matt, how are you today?
I'm good. How's it going?
Which Matt am I speaking to?
Matt Phelps.
Matt Phelps. Awesome. Do you have video today?
I do.
Check this out. All right, let's go 9 by 16 and drag you up right there. Matt, how can I be of service to you today?
Oh, hey, I just saw you and I love your positivity always. So, yeah, I was gonna see. I think I saw you were posting about your Free the Dream. So I'm just gonna jump in here and ask you a little bit more about your Free to Dream conference coming up.
Oh, I love that. By the way, workshop, not conference, but yeah,
Oh, workshop. Okay.
it's okay. I only point that out because there have been a couple hundred people who came to the conference, and I don't want anybody having an impression that if they are signing up that they're going to come to a conference. This is going to be a workshop. It's a completely different experience. But yeah, tell me, ask me any question you want. I can answer them all.
Yeah, so let's see. What do you feel like the biggest outcome like you're hoping people will achieve once they attend the conference or the workshop? I'm gonna break myself already.
That's all right. So the biggest outcome will be number one, they will get out of their normal environment, their daily habitual patterns and routines of how they think, feel, and behave. So immediately it's breaking the pattern of day to day life, which then we're going to give them a 2 day environment where being free from all of that noise, they can become consciously aware of who am I? And what is it that I desire in this moment or this season of my life? Am I currently doing, whether it's the work that I want to do today, whether it's am I experiencing the relationship that I desire as a spouse or as a parent or as whatever? Am I experiencing the life I feel most called to live? Is there some sort of dream that's inside of me that hasn't quite yet been realized? Is there a part of me that's still yet to be lived and experienced in this world? And getting out of the normal routine and giving you a place where you can become hyper focused on who am I, what are my values, what is it that I desire to create, and from that place asking what stands in my way, and having a small community of people. And so far there are 3 people who are registered. A fourth had said he's going to register this week, But this could be for participants and myself and Stephanie leading this workshop. It could be that intimate. It could be 10 or 15. Certainly there will be no more than 50. But the idea is that you can come and you can share and express some of your obstacles. You can share, let's see here. It says streaming error. Streaming to Cliff Ravenscraft stopped because of an error. That's all right. We'll continue without streaming to Facebook. Bye, Facebook people. But you can come and share what obstacles stand in your way. You can share what limiting beliefs that you have. Maybe some of the tools and the frameworks and some of the ideas that we share. You might say, well, here's where I feel that conflicts with my lived experience or my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is going to walk away a different person leaving this workshop than when they came in. They'll have much more clarity about who they are. It'll be more of a conscious decision about who they are and how they decide to show up. And they will be more empowered to live authentically true to themselves rather than being overly concerned about how they will be perceived by others. So that if anything, that would be the number one biggest takeaway that they'll experience.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think, all right. So kind of diving in on that and not to give too much away from the workshop, but I think my goals here recently, I was at a group the other day and we were talking about like how we were talking about our views of life on things. And one of the things I said that I really want to work on is just focusing on intentionality, being more intentional in my walk with Christ, my walk with my family, my walk with work, whatever, all the different aspects of life, as you know. And so, what would be like some of your recommendations on how to live more intention, have more intentional time, or be able to focus more intentionally? What are some of the things that you do, or um, that you could recommend?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to doing anything with intention is choosing my priorities. What is it that's most important for me to prioritize within my day and or week? Once I have that, then I would ask myself, well, is it getting the time that I desire that it gets? So let me take this out of the hypothetical and share with me, Matt, is there any specific area where you are wanting more of a focus on an intention that isn't necessarily finding the time within your schedule on a daily or weekly basis?
I think for me, one of the biggest things is it's funny. I have my little notebook right here, but I think I have three big spaces. One is with my kids, one is with my wife, and then the other is financially.
Okay. So, of those three, which one would you like to focus on for just a moment in this particular conversation between you and I?
Let's do my wife. Like I think that's my numero uno. Like I know a lot of people. I know I'm using them, but as I see things, it's like, oh, like, hey, God's like the first thing. But I think for me, I think God's like the main, like He's helped set my priorities, and so like He's just my life. Like I exude Him. Like, and so I take that out of like, oh, that's not my number one priority. Like that's who I am, is through that. If that take that out of it, and so like, because I hate whenever I'm like, oh, my wife's my number one priority, but I feel like my spiritual walk isn't a priority. It's just my life. So I think I weird people out whenever I say that sometimes, or some Christians. So I always like to like paraphrase that, or bring context to why I say, oh, hey, that's my number one priority.
Fair enough. I totally understand that argument. I've made that argument out loud multiple times in the past. So I get it. Yeah. God is in the way that I communicate this for myself is God is in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
How I experience everything is how I experience God. And so my
Mm-hmm.
spiritual walk is not just a compartment of my life. It is the entirety of my life. And I like to experience the reality of the fact that I am one with God, and Christ in, encourages me and invites me to be equally united, or the word that's used in the Bible is yoked with him, but it's united and working together day by day through all of the various aspects of my life. So yes, I totally understand your language there. Okay, so
Mhm.
what you'd like to do is experience some more time and or energy with your wife that's not currently maybe getting as much as you desire. So paint
Mhm.
a picture for me what it would look like if you were a 10 out of 10 in this area.
Oh, such a good question. Because at no time do I feel like it's bad. Like, and so like I feel like even me like saying, "Oh, I want to spend more intention," that it's bad, but I feel like I don't always get to put her first because I am working or whatever. So I think I think for me it would be to be a 10 out of 10, it would be to be able to be fully present in the moment, um, outside of the grind of being a husband, a father, or outside of being a father and a business person and all those things. And so I don't know if I don't really feel like I answered it very well, but I think that's like one of my things is that I want to make sure that she feels that I am giving her the best attention and present and all that kind of stuff. And my mind's not fluttering out to like, oh, did I get this done? Is this gonna fall through the cracks? Or um, and so I think yeah.
So let me tell you what I think I heard and tell me how close I am.
Mm,
So, what I think I heard is that you're saying, okay, so it's not so much that I want to always put my wife first in priority list when it comes to all of the things that I have to devote my time, effort, and energy to, because there are
mhm.
times where I feel, given the commitments I've made in life and business and all this other stuff, there are some times where I'm going to need to go over here when I might prefer to spend time with my wife, and she might have a desire for me to spend time with her, but because I have these commitments, I need to go and do this thing that I'm fully committed to. And in
Mhm.
some ways that's even, we could argue that some of that stuff is for her, right? And so
Mhm.
it's not so much putting her first when it comes to the number of things that I'm doing in my to-do list and or the amount of time overall.
Mhm.
What I am, and then the next thing I thought I heard was I want to be fully present when I
Mhm.
am with her. So it's not necessary that she gets the quantity of my time, but I
Right.
want the quality of my time to be fully present. My I want her to feel my focused awareness on our oneness and togetherness when we are together, and not be distracted, my mind elsewhere, thinking about things that I should have done earlier or that I need to do level later.
Yeah. 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 That's spot on.
Yeah. Okay. So what when was the last time you found yourself living a 10 out of 10 experience in this way?
Good question. I feel like it's ebbed and flowed, and so it's funny because like trying to actually like remember. Um, I mean, I feel like there was a couple times over the summer that I was like, oh, because I had cleaned up, I had gotten all my business stuff in order, and I felt like I was like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm being a pretty good husband. Um, and so yeah, but then I feel like sometimes like my intention like kind of rolls away, and then I'm like, oh, am I being intentional on this? Am I making it a priority? So yeah, so I'm talking, I ramble, I'm sorry, to all the viewers and other listeners, but yeah, so I think earlier this summer I think I was doing a pretty good job of it.
Okay. And so
So
earlier this summer, you were doing a pretty good job of it. What's been different recently?
I think the amount of workload that I've added to my plate probably, and then figuring like ending some stuff and then filtering out others. So I feel like I'm trying to do my best, but the ebb and flow of change, and then working my normal full-time role.
Yep.
So,
So, and the thing is you and I have had a couple one-on-one conversations, coaching sessions in the past. So I'm familiar with
mhm.
the fact that you have this day job. You've recently started a, uh, by the way, he just dropped his Zoom connection on his phone, so I would imagine he's going to come back. But I'll summarize this for the audience that might be still watching on the live stream and listening to the recording. I'm sure Matt will pop back in once he figures out that his phone accidentally dropped the Zoom call. But one of the things he's got going for him is he works a day job, and he also recently started an LLC so that he could start a self-employed business on the side. And he's also got a lot of projects in the works on those things. So those are things that he has going on. And Matt is just now getting popped back in here. So as soon as he gets back in here, we will bring him back up. All right, Matt, how you doing? All right, you're muted, by the way, just so you know.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yep.
I don't know what happened there. Well, somebody called in and I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, no, I get it. It happens. So basically what I just did is I gave people an overview of the fact that you and I have done some one-on-one private coaching, and the fact that you do have a day job. You recently started an LLC to have your own full-time self-employed business on the side, and you've got a lot of things on your plate. So that's where things
Mhm.
are. Now, we've already addressed the fact that you're not looking for more quantity time with
Mhm.
your wife, but you're looking for, when you are with your wife, that you're fully present.
Mhm.
So am I hearing that with all of the additional projects that you've been working on, when are, first and foremost, are you getting time with your wife? And the second part of the question is, if yes, are you finding yourself struggling to wind down your thought process from one project or the day job, and when you're with her, you're thinking about that thing you're going to go do next when you're, once this time with your wife is over? Is that what's going on, or can you elaborate?
Yeah, I would say that's 100% correct. Is probably that right there. Because yeah, I think as I'm spending time with her, I struggle to be present. It's not that I can't, I struggle because of the nature of that. And so yes, I think the intention is like, I want this, but so it's answering how can we process through that to shut off things. And
All right, so I'm going to give you two tools, and they, I believe, will help you immensely. The first tool, have you and I in our one-on-one conversations, did we talk about meditation at all?
we didn't.
Okay, that's surprising to me, but it's not. I just had a conversation with the client. He's on his 9th month, because we meet once a month for 12 months out of the in our relationship. And in our 9th month, he's like, Cliff, we've never talked about meditation. It's like, how did we get this far and we didn't talk about meditation? Because meditation is the number one tool that is, I believe, the answer to almost nearly all of our questions, because most of our situations have to do with our nervous system and our inability to stay focused on any one thing for any period of time, and to remain consciously in the moment. We live so much of our life in the past or in the future, what we have done and hasn't been finished yet, and what still needs to happen, and then ideas of some imagined future of the things that we need to accomplish. So, one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to consider a practice of meditation. And if there's one thing that I would encourage you to start with, is 3 minutes a day. And I would personally recommend the Insight Timer app. Are you an iPhone user?
I am, yes.
I think they,
iPhone all the way.
yeah, and it's probably on Android as well, but still, the Insight Timer app. It is absolutely free, will not cost you a single penny. There are tens of thousands of guided meditations of all different spiritual practices. But here's what I want to encourage you to do. Forget about all of the guided meditations. Go into the Insight Timer, and there's a function called Timer. And it'll allow you to choose a starting bell sound and an ending bell sound. And then you can have a duration of the amount of time. Set it for 3 minutes. And then here's what you want to do. Start your timer sit in silence. You don't have to have any special meditation posture or anything like that. There's about 100 different forms of meditation you could play with. I personally use about 10 to 15 different meditation techniques throughout my days and weeks. But start with 3 minutes, and all you're going to do is bring your focused attention on your breath. So for 3 minutes, you click the start timer. Breathe in and just be consciously aware. Whether your eyes are closed or open doesn't even matter. Okay, so I'm going to take away all of the normal barriers that are in most people's ways when it comes to meditation in the beginning. But what you want to do is you start the timer and you focus. You pay attention. Feel the air coming in through your nose as you breathe in. And then let it out slowly and feel the air as it goes through your nose on its way out. Now, your mission, should you choose to accept it, attempt to do that for 3 minutes without getting distracted. All right? Now, here's the fun part of this. Give yourself full freedom to fail miserably at this exercise. All right? If you can sit down for 3 minutes and keep your focused attention on your breath for 10 to 15 seconds during that 3 minutes, you have succeeded in starting a meditation practice. If you do 3 minutes a day, every day for 4 weeks, and by the end of the 4 weeks, you can actually stay focused on your breath for 50 seconds without being distracted, you will have succeeded in your practice of meditation. And ultimately, you may get to the place where you can go half the time, where you literally were able to focus on nothing more than your breath. The reason why I just say focus on your breath is because when you're focused on your breath and you're actually focused on the sensation of the air coming in and out of your nose, what you're not focused on are any of the thoughts about what you were doing before you sat down and what you have to do after you get up. You're in the moment. This would be where I would start. Now, ultimately, given the fact of where you are in your own spiritual journey and in your walk and from your faith background, I would not encourage you to start with the presence of Christ right there in your midst, right out of the gate. Start easy. Start with your breath. Because here's the one thing I can tell you. Your mind is not going to tell you that your breath isn't there. All right? You will know that your breath is there. It's the one thing. Put all of the focus, put all the attention on the breath. And every time you realize that you have lost your focus. Matter of fact, in the Insight Timer app, there's an interval timer. So there's a little bell that you can actually, it says, you know what, in the middle of my meditation, I want this particular sound to play as an interval, and I want it to happen every 1 minute. So imagine you start your 3 minute timer, and at 1 minute it goes ding, and then at 2 minutes it goes ding, and then of course at the third minute, it's because it's a 3 minute timer, it'll be the ending timer. But you'll get 2 reminders to check in with yourself. Am I still focused on my breath, or is my mind on some other thought?
Right.
Do you see where we're going with this? If you can train, the purpose of this is for you to train your mind that you become in control of your focus. Because if you can do this and you expand it out and then all of a sudden you're with your wife and say, you know what? I'm with my wife. I'm here in her presence. I'm actually thinking and feeling and experiencing and observing the things that me and my wife are here to experience together in this moment. And just imagine you have 25 minutes with your wife. Now, whether or not you want to bring this into it, you could actually set the Insight timer. Say, you know what? I'm going to have 30 minutes right here with my wife. We're going to chat for 30 minutes. All right. And if you wanted to, you could set the Insight timer for 30 minutes and hit it start and say, okay, at the end of this, our 30 minutes is up, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set an interval timer for every 5 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
it goes ding every 5 minutes. And that's a question you just, I'm kind of being facetious, but just
Mm-hmm.
imagine that 5 minutes goes by and you hear the little interval timer ding. And it's a little question for you. Are you here mentally in your mind with your wife? Are you present in the moment? Or are you thinking about what you did at work today or what you're going to do in the business tonight?
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is meditation. Meditation is a practice of focused energy, focused attention, focused awareness, focused consciousness in the present moment. Begin that practice and start training yourself at the beginning of the day. And if you want to get super aggressive, do it for
Mm-hmm.
3 minutes in the morning, then 3 minutes before you go to bed. And if you want to go super aggressive, try 3 minutes in the middle of the day. And what I love about this, Matt, is do you understand that everybody has 3 minutes to spare?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Let me ask you this. Even without having a practice of meditation up to this point, can you sense how this practice would absolutely radically benefit you?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yes, especially just putting. And again, I use the word intention because I think if we put intentionality behind it, like the practice of, and that's what I love about coaching, and that's why I mean I come and talk to you. I was so glad because again, I've taken a break from work for a second. I took my dog out and I was like, oh, let me just scroll my feed real quick. I see my
Yep.
boy Cliff hanging out, and I'm like, oh, he's just sitting there. And then so instead of reading, I'm like, what's happening in the comments? I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go to the Zoom thing.
Yep.
Um, and so yeah, so I could easily have taken 3 minutes and put my intention on like, oh hey, am I and then focusing in, am I in this moment? And so that way whenever I get back to editing some photos and cutting some video together, I'm back in the moment of, oh wait, now I'm doing what I'm supposed to be, what I'm getting paid to do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's good.
There was a little thing that I began to hint at that I didn't go fully into, and I just want to bring it in just for you. This
Mm-hmm.
is between me and you. I mean, if anybody wants to listen to this who's live streaming or listening to replays or whatever, that's fine. They can find how this might work for them. But again, I'm going with your relationship with Christ, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Based upon what you've shared earlier. One of the things that you could do is in your 3 minutes. And by the way, let's just say after 3, 4, or 5 weeks of doing this 3 minutes a day, feel free if you choose to expand it to 5 minutes and then to
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes and then as long as you want. And I would highly encourage you never get upset about breaking a streak. If you intended to do it 3 minutes a day every day for the next 4 weeks, but you missed 6 or 7 different days over the next 4 weeks, don't full grace, okay? But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that 3 minutes, that 5 minutes, or however long, eventually you could start and say, okay, for the first 30 seconds, I'm going to focus on my breath.
Mm-hmm.
But from that point forward, I want to focus on feeling the presence of Christ right here in my midst.
Mm-hmm.
And let that become the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sat in prayer and felt the presence of God?
Oh yes, yeah.
So now so what I'm saying is don't start with that. Start with the breathing is my recommendation as a meditation practice, but eventually you'll get 30 to 60 seconds into focusing on your breathing and let the remainder of that meditation for you, and it's an invitation to become fully presently aware of the presence of God in your midst, in your life, right here in this moment of meditation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the great news is you can begin to bring one of the things that you can do when you're spending time with your wife over the next 4 weeks, you'll start recognizing, hey, I'm breathing here when I'm with my wife. The other thing
Mm-hmm.
is you'll start to recognize eventually, wow, the presence of God is right here in this moment with me and my wife.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you'll begin to say, you know what, I don't need to think about the past, and I don't need to think about what I'm doing after this. If any of that's important, it will still be there after this allotted time.
Mm-hmm.
So the second tool that meditation is the first tool. All right. The second tool is something I picked up along the way, and it's called segment intending.
Mm-hmm.
Segment intending simply means this: before I enter a new segment of my day, I'm going to ask myself consciously, what are my intentions for this segment? Now, there are times when I will do a session of segment intending in the morning. So I'll look at my day and I'll say, okay, here's the things that's on my schedule. And then, okay, it's like, okay, at 1 p.m. to 2:30, I'm going to do a live stream today. How do I intend that to be? Well, I intend to be fully present with any one person. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter who they are. I intend to never bring about judgment about anything that they say and or believe. I will have full compassion for who they are. No matter what limiting stories they believe about themselves, I will only see the divine perfect nature within them. This is my commitment. This is my intention during that time. During that time, if I'm not with somebody, then I will do whatever feels right in the moment. But as soon as somebody joins me on the Zoom call, instantly, all of me, every ounce of my attention and my awareness and my consciousness and everything I have to offer will be poured into that person for their benefit, to uplift them, to support them, to encourage them. That is my intention for this segment from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. today. That's a segment intention. So let me
Mhm.
ask you this. When was the last time, right before you got out of the car after a long day at work and you know you're going to spend the next 2 hours with your wife or the next 45 minutes with your wife, that you, before walking in, you say, here's my intentions for this 45 minutes. And by the way, don't feel who would even think to ask this or do this without being introduced to this tool. But let me ask you, Matt, can you imagine how radically different the next 45 minutes walking into the house to see your wife after a long day at work, before you have start on all your projects, if you know that you have 45 minutes with your wife, but you sat in your car before you walked in the door and set your intention for how that 45 minutes would be?
Oh no, that'd be great because normally, if I will pull into the garage and then I'm trying to end one phone call so I can get into the house, or sometimes I'll bring my work out of my car into the house for a second and then jump. So yeah, no, I love that idea of segmenting and breaking. Okay, hey, once I'm here, I'm
And
I'm I'm husband Matt, dad Matt, not work Matt anymore.
yeah. And by the way, segmenting is certainly it, but I just want to just give you the other part of that, the tool's name. It's segment intending. So we
Hmm.
all have segments. The thing is do we go into the segments with intention?
Mm, right.
So, and this, you don't have to do this at the beginning of the day. You can do it. You can do it at the beginning of the day for all of your segments, but you can
Hmm.
also do this on the fly. Occasionally, when this first came out to me, I want to share something that I used to struggle with. All right, as a dad, I with one of my children, I had a situation where the only time this particular child called was when they needed something, right? And it's like, when this person needs something, it's like, okay, what do you want? What, I mean, it just the only time. We have a great relationship, all right, but still, that's the only time. I'd never get a call unless it's like, hey, Dad, I need your help. Can you do this for me? Can you send me this? Can you do this? Can you do this?
Hmm.
And it was just, in my mind, this is the only time I get a call. And of course, I'm sitting here at work, I'm doing this. I'm, self admitted, sometimes I like to work. I love what I do. And so there's a lot of work.
Hmm.
And I had a habit of, every time I saw this on my caller ID, it's like, what do they want now? What do you want now? And I'm
Hmm.
like, hello, what do you need? And
Hmm.
and it's like, and I ask myself, is this how I want to be in the world? Is this how
Hmm.
I want to show up? Is this how I want my child to think and feel about me? It struck me a long time ago. Maya Angelou says people never remember all of your accomplishments and all the things you owned and all the things you did. But when you
Hmm.
die, what people will remember about you is how you made them feel. And
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, I know for a fact this is not how I want my children to feel when they call me, even if the only time they call me is when they need something.
Hmm.
So what I began, when I was introduced to the tool of segment intending, I recognize, wait a second, my phone is ringing right now. Do you want to know what I'm not required by law to do? To click the answer button instantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a requirement. Who knew? But instead, what I could do is I could see the caller ID and I could see it. It's like, okay. And then I say, how do I want my child to feel? When I want my child to feel loved, to feel seen, to feel heard, to not, I don't want my child to feel like a burden, which is what I've previously done unconsciously without any intention ahead of time. So again, but all of this is like, now I've trained myself ahead of time. It's like, hey, when my children call, any of my children, if there's caller ID, I want to hit this is my intention. So now when my caller ID, it's like love, seen, cared for, not a burden.
Mm-hmm.
That's my segment intending. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
That is a whole different experience than what I used to do before segment intending, which is, what do you need?
Mm.
Do you see the
Right.
difference?
Yep.
So I gave you two tools, meditation and segment
Mm.
intending. What do you think?
Right. I love it. No, it's perfect. I am super excited. I think I can't wait to utilize some of these tools. And it's gonna be excellent. So
Awesome. Matt, I
um,
appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for seeing my live stream and joining me. I always appreciate our conversations. And the Free the Dream workshop, of course, is coming up. It's only, what, an hour and a half away from you?
I
So,
know, yeah.
so
Yeah, because it's August 30th, right? Hang on.
29th and 30th, Friday and
Okay.
Saturday.
Perfect. Well, I will see if I can get my Saturday freed up. If I don't have anything on Saturday, I think that would be a perfect way for me to utilize 2 days. So,
Awesome.
Cliff,
And
I appreciate you a ton. I tell a lot of people about how much coaching can be beneficial, and you are an excellent coach. And I know anybody that works with you just through my sessions, it can radically transform you, you know, even the
awesome.
best needed coaches, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all that. So,
Awesome. Well, Matt, it's always a pleasure. And feel free to stop by anytime, my friend.
hey, appreciate you, Cliff.
All
You
right.
enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
All right, so real quickly here, Lisa posted on YouTube. If you're still there, Lisa, I'm going to answer your question. Hey, what type of topics do you usually cover on your channel? And the answer is anything. Ask me anything. So I have a lot of people who are entrepreneurs or on the entrepreneurial path, but that's not everyone. I have lots of people who have day jobs and love their day jobs in various different roles. So it's not just entrepreneurship. It is a lot about mindset. It is about living life with intention. It's about setting your dreams, getting clear about what your dreams are, turning them into reality. It's, you could say, personal and professional development, spiritual growth. I mean, anything. It literally is anything. So the one thing I can encourage you to do is go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, and by all means join me here and ask me anything. All right, next up, another new leaf says, Cliff, you are amazing. Since my session with you last week, I have designed one sticker sheet, posted one long form and two shorts on YouTube, purchased a cutting machine and sticker paper. Next is a printer. And then I would love any recommendations on basic tools to assist with YouTube lives for plan with me videos. This may drive traffic to my store once I have it set up. Well, if you'd like to come back up here and dialogue about this, I'd be delighted to brainstorm with you anything when it comes to those tools. So feel free to just join me right here, cliffravenscraft.com/join. Would love to. And I'm thrilled that you've already taken so much action. And with that, I'm going to wait until the next person joins me here on the live stream and on Zoom, I should say. And we, by the way, we did lose Facebook somewhere along the way. We have no idea why it stopped, but it is stopped. Oh well. We're still on YouTube and LinkedIn. Looks like Karen is getting joined in here. It's taken a second for her connection to pop into Zoom. There we go. There's Karen. Okay, she's got video and audio should be popping up here shortly. Karen, how are you? Oh, your audio is muted. Or let's try and make sure. This happens to me from time to time. Let's see. You are unmuted. Say something. Let me just see.
Now.
Yep, there you are.
Oh, look, Clip, thanks for having me again. I didn't want to take up, I don't want to consume all your time. I want to leave you for other people to have,
Well, let's
to
put it
have
this. Let me share this with you, Karen. There is nobody else on the Zoom call, and I was just going to sit here until 2:30 p.m. today. So I appreciate you coming on. And yeah, how can I be of service to you?
Well, I mentioned in my comment that I'm looking at while I'm looking at creating the stickers and those sorts of things, which has been really fun of actually just going and doing little pieces. One of my great loves is producing YouTube videos, and I have got a couple up there now, which is more in my planner, stationery, start your life over genre. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing, because I consume them as someone who watches videos, is doing some, maybe once a month, doing a live stream for Plan With Me activities of where I might be talking about planning or other topics, but actually while I'm preparing for the month ahead or reflecting on the month that's just been. And I know I've seen people with lives just go live and that's it, but I've seen other people use tools where you can, present the comments on the screen. I don't want anything too fancy that there's a huge learning curve, but something that would help me be able to interact with people while I'm also doing something else.
Yep. So there are a number of tools that will allow you to produce the comments up on your screen. The tool that I'm currently using right now is Ecamm Live. Are you a Mac or a PC user?
I have both, but primarily Mac.
Okay, yep. So if you're on a Mac, Ecamm Live would be an incredible solution. It would allow you to very easily, I mean, you can see I'm bringing, not only am I bringing a Zoom call in, but I'm also able to pop up your comment, turn it on, turn it off, whatever. So it will allow you to do all of that. The other thing is that there is a tool called Stream Deck, and it is a
I
little,
think that's the one I was thinking of, Stream Deck. Is their logo a bird or something?
I don't know what their logo is.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I see it. No, or no, it's Stream Deck. It's more of like it's kind of like an arrow with a G around it, like Elgato.
Oh, okay.
But
Yep,
anyway,
yep.
Stream Deck it's a device that has a bunch of buttons that can be programmed to do essentially anything. So you're seeing me on Zoom, all right? But basically what I'm doing is Ecamm Live is sending what I'm sending out to all of the streaming sites such as YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. What you're seeing in Zoom is coming from Ecamm Live. So one of the things you can see is I can take you off of the screen just by the press of a button. Now I could do all of this with the software Ecamm Live, but then I'd have to dig around and use my mouse and do all the stuff. But here I could actually pull up an overlay that says, why am I just sitting here? I could actually say, hey, don't just scroll past the nudge. And I've got all of these different little messages that I can pop up there. I can get rid of those. And then I could bring you back up on screen with just a pop of the button. And so, and essentially, I could do anything. I could do multiple camera angles and all sorts of different things. A third tool that occurs to me that I would recommend would be some sort of desktop cam. So now I use just a one camera solution. So right here, I'm talking to you using the Insta360 Link camera. It is a webcam that has the ability to do this. So if you'll look at my screen here, you'll see that I'm scrolling over there. I could zoom in and show you my Michael Jackson album, my picture of Jesus sitting in meditation posture, or my statue over there. But yeah, I could zoom around and show you all around my office here. I could just click a button and bring it back to this. But the other thing that I want to show you is desk view. And so right here, I could be working with my planner and just showing you everything. Now in Zoom, do you see how, let's see here. I want to move this right here. Do you see how you can actually see what I'm writing in my on my notepad here, and you see how
Yes.
your video is over top of it, well, I could actually put
Oh,
my
yeah.
video over top of it and be streaming this out. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have an Osmo Pocket 3 as a vlog camera,
Yep.
but I'm finding using my iPhone 16 has been quite good at doing overhead shots, but then it's just my hands, which is fine. And then I have to, yeah, I've kind of got it worked out now, but I gave all my DSLR cameras and things to my older son when I moved over here. So I'm trying to just keep it pared down and not have too much equipment
Yeah.
because
So
I'm gonna have to move it all back at some stage.
so for me, I would say a Mac computer, Ecamm Live software, an Elgato Stream Deck, and I would have the ability to have two cameras. I would do one that would have the desk view, which, like I said, the Insta 360 link camera, and I have the original version. There's a newer version. I don't have the newer version. I have the original one. I think it's like less than $200. And then technically, I would probably buy two of them because as you can see, my video quality here is pretty decent. And
It's
this is
great. Yeah.
this is the if I had two of these, I could actually. Of course, I don't. Can you control two of them with one software? That would be a question to find the answer to before just buying two of them. But if I had one that was just the camera on me, and the other one I could actually have on the desk cam, and then I would be able to do the multi-camera setup. And inside of Ecamm Live, I want to show you here. I could actually change you to a circle. So
Mm-hmm.
and I can move you all over the place. And this is why I love Ecamm software. There are other solutions out there that will allow you to stream live to YouTube and stuff like that, but Ecamm is the one that is definitely my preference. Ecamm Live. So,
Yeah, I've been really surprised at some of the lives. I feel like in the shorts format, lives are prioritized for people in the feed. And
okay.
I've seen some really interesting things. I've watched people in India playing a game called Carom, which is kind of like a tiddlywinks c- cross with billiards, but you sort of flick these things. And I was just fascinated watching people, and I caught myself of what am I doing? I'm investing time in this, but yeah, I just think I still love the video aspect of things. I'm really enjoying designing stickers as well. Um, but yeah, I need to produce something else at the same time, just for
Yeah.
my own entertainment.
Now, I do want to share with you, since we're talking about software, Ecamm Live does come with a monthly subscription, and I have not used this other software tool in many, many years. It's called OBS. And OBS streaming,
OBS, like
yeah,
Bob.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't even know what it stands for, but it's like Oscar Bravo Sierra, OBS. So OBS streaming software, it technically probably could do everything I'm doing with Ecamm Live, except for the live Zoom integration like I have right now. But as far as what you can do with the streaming, multiple cameras, putting somebody with a circle overlay, all of that. If I'm not OBS software likely does all of that, and I think that might be an open source project that doesn't cost anything.
Okay. I'll check that out too.
Yep. And then the other
That is
the
cool.
last thing that I would tell you, Karen, is I would find some of these streams that you see that are out there that are impressive, that you find are impressive, and just jump into their chats and ask them, "Hey, can I ask you what camera are you using to do that? What software are you using to do that?" And most of those streamers would be more than delighted to answer those questions for you.
Yes, I've got a feeling it might be Stream Deck that I have seen people using. I don't know why I was thinking it was an animal in the logo, but yeah, I will do that. That is fantastic.
Yeah, and
I'm still
Stream Deck is not a software. Well, it comes with software, but it is a hardware device that has software that controls other software. So Stream Deck
Okay.
allows me, I mean, I use Stream Deck for non-streaming stuff more than I do streaming stuff. So I have little buttons here that says publish a podcast episode, and I press a button and it instantly opens up my web browser, opens a new tab, logs into my Kajabi, goes into my podcast, and it's right there for me to now add a new podcast episode. And I have one of those for every podcast that I produce, which I produce quite a few podcasts. So I use Stream Deck just for shortcuts to everything.
Oh, that's great. I love a bit of tech.
Yeah.
Good fun. Well, that's great. Thank you so much. I'm still looking into, I've got some unplanned visitors coming at the end of this month, but I'm still
Wait a
seeing if I
second.
can steal.
You have unplanned visitors that are coming at the end of this month. So the end of this month is not yet here. And so you've got visitors coming. So aren't you, in fact, having planned visitors coming?
Well, so I have my planned visitor of being my cousin coming from, she's going to come from England.
Okay.
Um, but then I was talking to my niece's husband saying we should plan a trip to see him, and he said, "Oh, I'm coming to your house." I was like, "Oh, are you? When is that?" So I believe that's the end of this month. But I was talking to my husband about it last night. He's like, if you want to go to Northern Kentucky, just go. And I said, oh, I feel bad if I've got people in my house and then I disappear. But, they do have a 3-year-old toddler as well, which can be hard work. So, I'll have to just see how it pans out.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome to join us at the Free the Dream workshop in Northern Kentucky on August 29th and 30th, which is just under 2 weeks from now. And if it doesn't pan out, Stephanie and I will definitely be hosting many more of these workshops. So, and not just once a year. So,
yes, no, that's great. Well, thanks so much again for your help, Cliff.
It'll be a closer
And
trip for you this time than it was to come to the conference.
I know. My husband and I were looking at a map. It was the states of the US, but it didn't have names on it. And I said, okay, well, I'm pretty sure that's Colorado because I know that's Nebraska. So I'm saying to my husband, where's Kentucky? And I actually said to him, so if there's a North Kentucky, is that like the North and South Carolinas? And he's like, no.
No.
There's just one.
Yeah, it's northern Kentucky. So it's the state of Kentucky, but it's the northernmost part of the state. And it's interesting because it almost is like a separate state in and of itself. If you go, so northern Kentucky, and this is coming just from me always growing up, and I've always lived in the northern Kentucky area. So there are 3 counties that make up northern Kentucky, which is Boone, Kenton, and Campbell. Now, some of them do a little bit like one county below, but those of us in northern Kentucky say it's Boone, Kenton, and Campbell. And we actually see ourselves as more as a greater Cincinnati, Ohio area. So Cincinnati, Ohio is right across the river from northern Kentucky. But if you ever were to fly into the Cincinnati airport, it's actually the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport, which happens to be in Hebron, Kentucky, which is my hometown. So it's really confusing. And if you were to travel just past the line of northern Kentucky, we start talking like this in the state.
Well, that's right. I was thinking I'm looking at the South, but then I don't know you to have a Southern accent.
Nope.
So I was a little confused.
You have to go about 1 to 2 more counties below and people start talking like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
that's really cool.
In northern Kentucky, we don't. So not that there's anything wrong with the accent, but I
love it.
It is a very really distinct, like geographic. It's so weird, but yeah, when I tell people I'm from Kentucky, I don't say I'm from Kentucky. I say I'm from northern Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense to the locals. I'm pretty sure when I was flying out of Nebraska a couple of years ago, I actually drove through a different state on the way to the Nebraska airport. There's some kind of crossover there.
Yeah.
But no, it's quite fascinating.
Karen, you're always welcome. Feel free to join me anytime, and never concern yourself with monopolizing my time. If I'm here and I'm not talking to anybody, that means there's nobody for me to talk to. So talking to anyone would be better than me just sitting here. And as far as monopolizing my time, just if you ever have anything on your mind, you want to chat, and I'm doing these live streams called Ask Me Anything, and it says click here to join, by all means, join.
Well, may I ask you your favorite Bible translation? Just as a survey?
My favorite Bible translation, English.
Well, most people say it's the one that you'll read, right? So, but yeah, I
I
mean,
I don't necessarily have a favorite. What I will, yeah, I couldn't tell you that I have a favorite translation of the Bible, but what I can tell you is that I have really enjoyed the Passion. I think is it called the Passion
okay.
translation?
Yes, yeah.
I really enjoy that very out there approach to seeing the
Okay.
scriptures from a completely different perspective. And so I like it a lot. Back in the day when I was studying for ministry, I would say that I really enjoyed the New Living Translation. I felt like it was a more natural language translation, maybe not as literal translation word for word. And back in the day, I
Mm,
would say that the New International Version, the original NIV, was of interest to me. I've never been a
yes.
fan of the King James version ever. Not any version, not the New King James, not the original King James. My I grew up in certain circles where they believe that that's the only translation that should be
Yes. Yeah.
read. And interestingly, one day I had a conversation with somebody. I won't name who it is, but somebody I'm pretty close to, and they basically said you shouldn't be reading anything other. And I sit there. I said, well, let me ask you this: what would you do if your child was to exhort you? And I'd
Mm,
probably have a hard time with that. And blah 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 blah. I'm like, that's interesting because the Bible says exhort one another daily. Just so you know, it
mm,
means encourage. So you'd be upset if you're so this is what, so you're so convinced that you have to read this version, but when you hear a scripture that says exhort one another daily, you're going to get upset if somebody comes up and exhort. You don't even understand the words you're reading. Why why are
mm.
you so tied to this translation? It doesn't make sense to me.
I have a copy of a King James when actually he was a prince. He wasn't the king. And one of my mum used to work with the elderly, and one of her clients gave her this Bible, and it's very clearly a family Bible. It's got people's births and christenings and marriages written in it. And my mum passed it to me, and it's beautiful. It's a leather. It's falling apart, but it's very, very old. And one of my projects will be to see if I can actually find the family that it belongs to. This elderly lady believed that her family would throw it out. That's why she actually gave it to my mum. But you never know. Other generations may be really interested in it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name in it, but I believe it's distinctive. So I may be able to find them and hand it on back to them
So what are you doing
when
the
I get
research
back to
for?
Australia.
Why what's the research that you're doing for people's favorite translations?
Well, it's really just a bit of a curiosity of mine because I find that sometimes the details block me from progress. And what I find I do, so I have an NIV study Bible, I've had it for years. But then sometimes if I'm reading a particular passage and I am unsure what it's saying or I don't like what it's saying, I will stop reading and go and get another translation and another translation and another translation just to get more clarity. And just recently, I got really hung up on the Lord's Prayer because I was in primary school in the 70s. We used to say it was allowed back then. In fact, we did have religious instruction in our state school. And I was reading the Lord's Prayer in the Bible. I was like, that's not what we said at school. We had like extra bits on the end, and I've since found out that that's a Church of England kind of addition.
For thine is the
And so
kingdom and the glory of of whatever.
yes, for
Yeah.
that, yeah, forever and ever, amen. Yeah, so
Yep.
it's this sort of extra bit on the end. So then I started going in down that rabbit hole of how did that happen, and which one is right, and all of that. So I've just found that here there's NASB. There's different translations that we don't really have in Australia. So I've just thought while I was here, I would just explore other things just out of curiosity. And I watch some YouTubers who will talk through what they like and why they like it, and they tend to have one from each end of the thought for thought versus the word for word. So yeah, just knowing that you're a man of faith, I thought I would ask.
Yeah. Well, it's the Bible has definitely been something I've devoted a great deal of my life to studying, and yeah, I mean, when it comes to the actual traditional 66 accepted books of the Bible in the Protestant faith, I would say the NIV would be the one that I had read and studied the most, and then the New Living Translation was something that was more pleasant to read for just devotional use. And then my faith and theology has shifted and broadened
Mm,
incredibly in the last 5 years. And I find that the Passion Translation seems a little bit more in line with some of the ways that I view and interpret the same scriptures that I once held very rigidly. It's like, how can I make this conform to the doctrines that I inherited when I grew up? And
yes,
and so since then I've made a more conscious decision to develop my own beliefs about certain interpretations. And so yeah, it's an interesting study.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I've heard of the Passion. I've never read it. I know we have something in Australia called the Message. I don't know if that's similar, but
Yep.
no, that's one I'll certainly have a look at. I even look at the Geneva Bible from time to time, just gives me a bit of a Shakespeare feel when I'm reading it. But I agree with your comments on the King James. I think that a bit like Shakespeare, it's actually quite hard work to read it and understand it. And it might be beautiful and all of those sorts of things, but I think like many translations, it's got its issues. And whatever you can read and enjoy and then go off and compare and contrast with other things is really, really useful as well.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Karen, is there any
Thank you,
other
Cliff.
thing I can do or say to be of any support and encouragement to you?
No, thank you. You've been fantastic.
Awesome. Well, feel free to join me anytime. Like I said, I'm here this week. I'm here for 90 minutes each day this week. And sometimes I stay longer, but I have coaching sessions at 3:30 each day this week. So, but yeah, you're welcome to join anytime, and never feel like you've ever overstayed your welcome. You're always welcome here.
I just want everyone to have a chance. That's all.
Oh yeah, trust me. I will always do what I need to do to make sure that if somebody new that's popped in gets called first. But I can assure you that you will never have to worry about whether other people will get their spotlight.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Cliff.
All
I'll
right.
see you later.
Many blessings, and hey, if no pressure on coming to Free the Dream, but if you guys want to pop in, by all means, we've got an extra workbook just for you.
Yeah, if I don't make it this time, I will definitely come next time, but I will see if I can wangle it. I
All
don't know
right.
if that's an Australian saying, wangling it.
Well, I pick it up from context, so I understand. Do
Yeah.
all the wangling you need, but again, no pressure at all. But you know we would love to see you again. All
Thanks,
right.
Cliff.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, folks. It is 7 minutes and 45 seconds before the end of my committed time here. I do have a call at 3:30 p.m. today, but I would be delighted if anybody else wanted to pop in just for a moment to round out these last 7.5 minutes Not that anybody needs to, but if you want to, feel all. Actually, you know what? There's nobody on the live stream. I'm literally just talking to myself, because Facebook has failed today. LinkedIn is still there. I don't know if anybody's commenting on LinkedIn because comments from LinkedIn does not come in to this. So let's click here. That's 5 days ago. Let me go and see all posts. Yep, I am definitely on LinkedIn. And let's see. There's no comments that I can see here. Yep, no comments on LinkedIn. Alrighty. Well, with that, with 0 viewers and nobody else on LinkedIn with a comment, I will go ahead and wrap about 6.5 minutes early today. Many blessings to you if you happen to be watching the replay on either LinkedIn or YouTube. I'm glad you stuck it out to the end. You're welcome to join me. If you go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, there's a link, a list there of all of my scheduled calls coming up. So you can plan to attend ahead of time if you want to. Many blessings, and I wish you well. Thanks.